I want you to think about what field you're in. Whatever you're in, you've probably studied that topic for a long period of time, you have a lot of experience with it, and you know what you're talking about. Well, isn't it funny when you hear someone else talking about it and they have no clue what they're talking about? Oh yeah, my teeth have been hurting for like a year now. I probably have just cavities all over them, it's not a big deal. Well, I hear this all the time, and it's kind of funny because it's usually not true. Now don't get me wrong, if your tooth is hurting, there is a chance that you have a cavity. But usually when it's a smaller cavity or it's just starting, then it won't hurt right away. Usually the only time a cavity will hurt you is when it's really big and it's approaching the nerve of your tooth. So why else can your teeth be hurting? Well, I'm gonna give you 7 reasons other than a cavity why your teeth are hurting you. Number 1 is gum disease. If you haven't been to the dentist in a while or you haven't been keeping your teeth super clean, then there's a good chance that you have gum disease. Now, gum disease is basically when the gums that surround your teeth get inflamed, and there's a chance that if this gets really bad, it can involve the bones that surround your teeth as well. Now, the reason this happens is there's a lot of food and plaque buildup and bacteria that build up around your teeth and under your gums, and while you can clean a lot of this way with your toothbrush and dental floss, some of this stuff you cannot remove. And over time, as this builds up, it can really cause some pain and feel like you have a cavity when all you really need is a dental cleaning. Number 2 is if you're clenching and grinding your teeth. A lot of times we don't even realize if we're clenching and grinding our teeth. And there's a lot of reasons we could be doing this in the first place. A big reason is if we're stressed. If our job is stressful, or our school is stressful, or our spouse or someone else is stressful, then this can cause you to grind your teeth at night. And not just at night, if you're working out, if you're playing a sport, if you're going for a walk, or if you're just doing work at home, then sometimes you could be grinding your teeth or clenching your teeth during this as well without even realizing it. The bottom line is if you do this, it can cause your teeth to hurt. And this is why it's so important to go to the dentist to get your teeth checked, because we can check for signs and see if you are grinding your teeth. Now, usually we can fix this by just making you a bite guard or something like that. That way, if you're clenching and grinding, it'll deflect all those forces and it'll protect all your teeth from fracturing or cracking. But sometimes you need a little more help, but we'll only know that if you come to the dentist. Number 3 is if you have an infection. Yes, you can get an infection if you have a cavity, but you can also get an infection if you don't have a cavity. Like I said before, if you have gum disease and this gum disease gets really bad, it can involve the bones that surround your teeth. And sometimes this gum disease can spread under the roots of one of your teeth. The roots of our teeth have a tiny hole at the bottom of them. And this is how we get our blood supply. This is how our teeth are basically kept alive. And if this infection finds its way there, it can actually work its way underneath the tooth and cause a tooth infection that way. Number 4 is if your tooth is fractured. If you've been opening bottles with your teeth, or you've been munching on ice all the time, or if you've been grinding your teeth, there's a lot of reasons your tooth can just fracture. And there's different ways your tooth can fracture as well. And sometimes a part of your tooth will just fracture clean off, and you'll definitely see it, and this can definitely hurt. And sometimes you can have a crack forming in the tooth, and you won't be able to tell. And it's really hard for us to tell as well, but we do have tests we can do to help determine that. Number 5 is if you have gum recession. Now, I'm gonna group a few things into this one. Sometimes you have gum recession, which is basically on one of your teeth, the gums have kind of lifted up. It looks like they just kind of disappeared a little bit. And other times you'll have part of your tooth has worn away. This will look like gum recession, but if you look at your other teeth, the gums are actually all at the same level. Now, one reason this can happen is called abrasion. This is basically when you're brushing too hard with your toothbrush and you're basically wiping away those gums or wiping away the tooth. This is why we say use a soft bristle toothbrush and brush softly, because we don't want to hurt anything. And sometimes our teeth can wear away more from erosion. This means that there's some type of acid that's eating away at our tooth. So if you have gastric reflux or GERD, or if you're drinking a bunch of acidic beverages like a soda, then this can cause some damage to your teeth. And sometimes this can all be combined. Sometimes you'll wear away your teeth first, and now that the inner part of your tooth is exposed, it's a little bit weaker, and now you're drinking a bunch of acidic beverages, and that's eating away at your teeth now. But the bottom line is, this can hurt, and it's not necessarily a cavity because there's no decay or anything there, but part of your tooth has been worn away, and now the inner part of your tooth is exposed, or if your gums have receded, the roots of your tooth have been exposed, and this can make your teeth more sensitive because now you're getting closer to the nerve in your tooth. Number 6 is if your wisdom teeth are coming in. Sometimes our wisdom teeth are impacted, sometimes they're not. But when they're coming in, it can put a lot of pressure on our teeth and it can hurt. And there's lots of reasons our wisdom teeth can cause pain. Sometimes they'll be partially erupted, meaning they're partially above the gums, but the gums that surround the wisdom teeth can get really inflamed, and if food gets stuck in there, that can really hurt too. But also, as our teeth erupt, they just cause pain in general. I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, when your adult teeth were coming in, or even when you were first teething for the first time as a baby, then this can cause some pain. Number 7 is if you have a sinus infection. A lot of times if you have allergies or a sinus infection, it can cause some pain to your upper teeth. And the reason is on our upper teeth, the roots of our teeth are really close to our sinus, and sometimes they're actually into our sinus. So if you have a sinus infection, it can make it seem like you have a toothache and you have a cavity, when really it has nothing to do with that at all. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked that video, and if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel below. And I'll see you in the next video.